he texted me another 4 months after that, like in January, and it was a link to a pizza shop, and I did not respond. And so a month and a half later, he texted me and said, "Are you officially ghosting me?" And so I responded with what I think was some of my best work. And I said, "This is silly. You were entitled to my time when we were in a relationship. You're not now, so I officially can't ghost you."
True. True story.
Welcome to Misconnections. Each episode, we bring a true story of a misconnection and unpack it with the person who lived it.
This week's misconnection, to the man who swept me off my feet for a little while, with Alisha Rai.
Alisha Rai is an author and attorney who pens emotionally complex adult and young adult romances. Her novels have been named Best Books of the Year by The Washington Post, NPR, New York Public Library, Amazon, Entertainment Weekly, Kirkus, and Cosmopolitan Magazine. When she's not working, Alisha loves to spend time with her husband and son.
Alisha Rai, welcome to Misconnections. We are so happy to have you today.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
We actually know that you have a story to tell us, so why don't you tell us your story?
I would love to. We met on a dating app, and at first, everything with you felt different. Our first date played out like a scene from one of my own romance novels, with the two of us perched above the LA cityscape. We flitted from rooftop bar to bar, and at the end of the night, you asked me for my ring size. You came on strong, giving me the sort of affection and attention I'd never gotten from men before, but had always craved. I'm a natural romantic, yet I had never had that swept off my feet feeling before. Any skepticism I had about your eagerness was overshadowed by optimism that maybe, finally, I'd get to have that feeling. I was so ready to be done with dating altogether and eager to slip into something comfortable. I was tired. For years, I'd been stuck in that demoralizing cycle of swiping on apps, texting, going on a few dates, and then the inevitable letdown. It had reached the point where even if I matched with someone promising, just the idea of getting to know them all over again was too exhausting. But from the first night, you told me you were ready, and that was good enough for me. But in less than a year, dating you became a constant exercise in convincing myself everything was good enough. I was so exhausted from my dating past that I ignored all the warning signs, and there were so many. That initial wave of devoted excitement you showed me sputtered out in a slowly extinguished flame. A little over a year after our first date, you hardly acknowledged my birthday. No gift, no phone call, just a text as if I were some acquaintance. When I gave you an outfit I'd brought for you, you immediately put your walls up. "You don't have to do stuff like that," you said, seemingly unable to receive an expression of love from your girlfriend. Rejecting my generosity felt like you were pushing me away. And then, of course, there was the moment you told me you had no expectations of me, a clear tactic to take the pressure off of yourself. You continued to disappoint me, yet you managed to do just enough, narrowly clearing the bar I had for a partner, which my brother once observed was so low it was in the earth's mantle. The memories of the way you'd originally treated me, the hope that I'd finally found my person, clouded my judgment and kept me from facing reality. Our relationship felt like a sunk cost, where I'd already invested too much into you, that I didn't want it to have all been for nothing. Why not just keep going? What was the point of getting out there again and trying to find someone new anyway? It was so exhausting. Surely sticking it out was better than being alone or dating again. After all I wanted was my own love story, and maybe you were my best chance at that.
Oh, okay. So good. There's so much in there that I definitely relate to, and I'm sure our listeners will relate to too. So we're very excited to talk about it and hear more. First, I want to say that this story was kind of loosely adapted from an article you wrote, Confessions of a Terminally Single Romance Novelist, which was published on oprahdaily.com. Before we jump into the story itself, I want to kind of rewind a little bit, because in your article, you talked about how you grew up feeling like everything you did was part of a points total that would eventually determine what kind of man you'd marry or if you'd marry one at all. And so tell us more about that and how it influenced your dating life as an adult.
I don't think this is unique to any one culture. I think it's sort of a pervasive idea of sometimes you're taught that marriage or relationships are transactional. And you grow up with this idea of, well, if I have this to bring to the relationship, then they should have this to bring, and it's not always things like, if I talk a lot, they should be able to listen. Sometimes it's more shallow things like, if I have this level of education, they should have an equal level of education. If I have this much earning power, they should have this much earning power. And that was what I was raised with. So the idea was just, or the idea that I was sort of, was raised with was the idea that I had to sort of make myself as good of a candidate for a relationship or marriage as I could. So that meant, you get the degrees, you go to school, you'd get good grades, you graduate with something that would make you, if not super financially well off, at least, secure and comfortable. You look nice, you don't get wild tattoos or get a lot of piercings or anything like that. You don't smoke, you don't drink too much. Those are all sorts of things that decrease your value. It was something that I think was so ingrained in how I was raised that I didn't really think about it until I was probably well into my 30s. I just sort of assumed that it was always just in the back of my head. If I do this, and I called it a points total, I think, in that article, because it was like a game, like you win this many points and then you'll get somebody with just as many points, or at least you'll be more attractive to, other people. So it was like a gamifying yourself to make yourself into a marketable candidate, instead of working on yourself as a human being and finding somebody who matches you as a human being.
Whew. That's a lot to navigate.
Very heavy stuff. Sorry.
No, but it actually parallels perfectly like kind of what dating app culture has created as well, as like a different form of a transactional kind of marketplace. And so it is kind of a modern take, or, a different take on that same kind of points total and perspective on romantic connection.
For sure. And it's not really lost on me that, most of my dating history was shaped by dating apps or websites. I mean, we think about dating apps as so modern, but Match.com came out in the late 90s or the early 00s. I mean, this has been around for a really long time, meeting people not face to face, meeting them through a screen of some kind. And it's unfortunate, because maybe I would have realized that I was doing this sooner if that hadn't been immediately reinforced by a way of dating that is not as personal as it could be.
Yeah, totally.
And I think we're just like finally at that point in the internet age and the online dating experience that, people are starting to reflect and be like, ooh, this is a little too transactional, or like, I cannot algorithm out my perfect match necessarily.
Right.
Like there's always something behind it that is going to be, whether it's, for money or not, advertisement, there's going to be something that's going to be influencing who you see or who you experience, and what they even are interested in doing in terms of connection. But I do want to get back to your story. And I want to talk about this line in the story where you say, you came on strong, giving me a sort of affection and attention I had never gotten from men before. Can you give us, an example or two about what coming on strong was for you?
Yeah, I think I think now they would call it love bombing. I don't think I had that language back then to know what it was. I had previously dated very kind of buttoned down men, in one way or another. I did tend to attract more avoidant type people. And so it was never, I know now that avoidance can also love bomb, and they do it very famously. But at the time I was like, oh, he's so open about everything. So asking me for my ring size the first night, just like looking into my eyes, like, talking about this deep instant connection, like swept off your feet feeling. Men up to then that I had dated had not been so forthcoming about something like that. They were much more reserved. It was much slower. And, either way is fine. But at the time, I think I had really been hungry for that kind of immediate attention, or hungry for that feeling of like, okay, yeah, you're it. This is it. We're not going to keep dating or whatever, right? This is it. So that makes sense. So I think that was what happened, was that it was just so instantaneous and so over the top that, and I was just so hungry to be done. So I thought, yeah, like this must be it.
Yeah. When it validates that like points total piece too of like, no,
Mm-hmm.
I did do the work. I've gotten all these points, and you're telling me that matches, like you're seeing that and validating that too. I feel like that's kind of when you can be hungry for it and also be kind of prepared to experience validation in that way too.
Right, because I mean, this was our first date, right? And I was
Which
fully
is
prepared to think, yeah. I'm like, yeah, he's totally in love with me, of course. That's never makes sense.
That's how it always
yeah,
works,
it
right?
does.
Right.
It's how it always works. But yeah, I mean, I think it really it's hard when you are just I was so ready at that point, and I think when you're that eager to just be done, when you
Yeah.
get like that immediately, it's like a drug. It's like, okay, this looks, I don't even care how I feel about you. This must be it. Like if you feel this strongly about me, and you just kind of go along for the ride.
Yeah. Give me more. Give me more.
Give me more. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we get to the point where, the attention shifts, pulls back. You're getting these signs of kind of boundaries, and that feeling starts to go away of like, this person is so into me. But you describe in your article, and then we hear in the story that kind of you're making these little compromises because, like you said, you were so ready to be done, and you had feel good vibes at some point. So you're trying to get those back and just trying to make this work because there's some sunk costs. Kind of to the point until where your brother makes this comment that, by the way, since we talked about this, has been living rent free in my head, which is the bar being in the Earth's mantle. And I'm like, oh God, that is too
Yeah.
true and very dark. But so how did it feel then to get to that point and hear kind of, maybe you knew you were making these compromises, but then hear your brother reflect that back to you?
Yeah. And my brother likes to remind me all the time that he never liked him. He was like, I hated that guy. I hated that guy. You dated.
Oh, brothers are good at that.
Truly,
Yeah.
in my wedding speech, he was like, she dated a lot of bozos before you. Like he was. So he has famously not been a big fan of anybody I've been with up till until I got married. But so yeah, he was very much like, this is not great, and of course is wise enough to say nothing until the relationship is fully kaput.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to hear that, but especially when I was such a strong proponent, I've always been such a strong proponent of having such high standards for any partner you're with. I mean, I've always said it. I wrote it. I knew it in my head. And then to carry it out in my own life was just incredibly difficult. And I think that's true of a lot of people. Like it's
Sure.
easier to say things to your friends or to write it out and tell millions of people the same thing. And then to have to do it to your own life is incredibly difficult. Like it's very challenging. Until I heard that reflected to me from, and at the time my brother was in college, I think. So to hear like a college kid telling me like, God, your standards are really low. Like you gotta do better than this. Is very humbling and very disturbing. And at the same time, I was very proud of him. I'm like, wow, I raised you really well. And now I have to put some of that into action, into my own life and raise my own standards a little bit. But yeah, it's really, really hard to, when you feel like you've sunk too much time into something, the sunk cost fallacy, right? Like I got to make
Yeah.
it work now because I'm not going to start over fresh, right? I don't want to get out there again and start this merry-go-round all over. You might as well just stay with the person you're with. There was a time when he said something to me, and I think it's in the article where, I was trying to explain something to him, and I was like, this really upsets me. And he said, well, I don't really care what upsets you. And like that night, I had to go upstairs and I had to like pop one of my airplane Xanaxes, like I keep Xanax for airplanes, and I had to like break into my little travel bag and take that out and pop it because I was so upset about that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the beginning of the end for us. But I I remember thinking, like, is this going to be my life? Am I just going to be popping pills to get through the things that my partner says to me? Like, is that something that I want really?
Yeah.
Or is that worth it? Like, is that the life that I really envisioned for myself or that I would tell anybody else to have? Probably not.
Were you already like a romance author at the time when you were dating this person?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I was well into my romance career.
Okay,
This
yeah.
was yeah. That's what I mean when I could say, I could write it into my books and see them in Target and see other women reading them, and I still, it was still difficult to have it play out in my own life.
For sure. No, I mean, the struggle is real, but I can only imagine, like hearing something like that, he said that to you is just like, where's the reciprocity? Where's the safety? Like, that's so important. Since we have you and we know, obviously, you are a romance novelist, we would love to kind of talk a little bit about how you did navigate that. I definitely very much love how your work in romance genre in general kind of is a commentary on and also escape from like the realities of dating and relationships today. And one of those big things that is central in those stories is kind of like expectations, so this expectation to the story that you shared and the discourse around dating is a big conversation that we're having, specifically around finding the balance of expecting too much and compromising too much by expecting so little. How do you think about that with your work and having that conversation?
Expectations is kind of a tough word when it comes to the romance genre because
Okay.
individual characters aside, there is this idea that romance as a whole imparts unrealistic expectations on people. And I've always, from the minute I first started writing, from the minute like I started reading romance, I've always said, and I try to carry it out in my books, is that there might be some unrealistic expectations in terms of like, yeah, sure, maybe you're not going to have a Navy SEAL like knocking on your door, right? Like maybe a billionaire isn't going to fly you away on his private jet. Sure.
Exactly.
Those are a little unrealistic. No more unrealistic than an action movie, but
Sure.
a little unrealistic. Okay, sure. But there is nothing unrealistic about desiring a partner who will care for you and respect you and give you orgasms and make you want to be happy and really fall at your feet. Like there's nothing unrealistic about that. Those are all good expectations to have, and you should hold people of either gender to those expectations. They should be kind to you and respect you and take care of you, and you do the same to them. And however that plays out in an individual romance novel is, a different story. Mileage may vary, but that is one thing. And then so that has always been a core principle in my books. And then as far as individual characters went, I think it was one of those things where I was kind of writing for a long time. I was just kind of writing what I wanted. Like it was, not even personally wanted. Like it wasn't like this thing where I was a self-insert or anything like that. It was a case of, I want someone who will notice things about me that my hero is noticing about the heroine. I want somebody who will, be kind to me in this way. I want somebody like that. And so I think other people might want somebody like that. So I'm going to write it like that. And I think that all worked out really well. I think the expectation in dating and the expectations in romance are basically the same. This is not... romance novels are aspirational, but they are achievably aspirational as far as I'm concerned. As long as you're not like waiting for your billionaire Navy SEAL, I think you're
No, that one's coming for me actually.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I mean, if you want to look up that,
billionaire or celibacy, that's all I'm going for.
Yeah. Listen, it's a hard life out there, and I respect that. But it might take you a while then.
Yeah.
but sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Like whatever you want, hold out for it, and someone might come along who can fulfill it.
No, it's actually, I love hearing you talk about that because, billionaire aside, I think that the expectations you're talking about are important reminders. Like sure, they could be, created into bigger stories that have maybe more like fantasy like elements, like we're using the billionaire here. But those principles of like having a partner who pays attention, who can communicate, who, supports you, who, can work through hard things, like that, those are expectations that actually you should hold in your own life, in real life. We want to get back to your story now. So I think we know enough to know that this relationship did not last.
Oh, it did not. No.
And we'd love to know about kind of what happened with the guy. Like, did he disappear altogether? Did he linger as they do? What happened?
They always come back, right? That's how it always works. So, we broke things off after a little bit over a year. We broke things off, and I was ready, kind of, to be done with him totally. And that's how I usually end my relationships. Like scorched earth. We never talk again. I love it. And there is like a certain, I think, especially like these avoidant type of guys who always come back. Like they cannot, suddenly you're the one that got away, even though they were real anti having anything going anyway.
Yeah.
But I think maybe, how was it? Like 4 or 5 months later, I heard from him for the first time. And he was just like, hey, how's it going? What's going on? And I was like, I don't want to be friends. So I just gave him like a short response. And I said, everything's fine. Thanks for checking in on me. I'm good. Hope you're good. And then he texted me on my birthday, which was very funny because part of us breaking up was that he couldn't remember my birthday. So he texted me on my birthday. He's like, happy birthday. And I was like, okay. And so I was like, thank you. I don't want to be friends. I don't want to hear from you again. We don't have to do this because I'm definitely not going to remember your birthday anymore. So I don't want that obligation on my hands. We're done. And then he tried to argue with me. He said, I think you're throwing like the baby out with the bathwater here.
Oh
if we're not going to. I said, why would we ever stay in touch? As like, what is wrong with you? So that went on. And finally I was just like, I really don't want to be friends. And I blocked him like on my phone. And I didn't realize that it didn't block him on my computer. So every like 6 months or so, I kid you not, for at least 4 years, I would get a message from him and it would be like, I just want to show you, like, just wanted to say how everything was going. I hope everything's going well. I saw this pizza place that you might like. And no response from me. There are like, hang on, actually. Let me see if I can pull them up.
Please,
I have no problem.
Please.
I have no problem.
I need to know more about the man who can text every 6 months without a response but can't remember a birthday. Like, that is just...
Or has no expectation for you.
Yes. I love it. Okay, so here I'll go through it all the way from the beginning. I love this. So 5 or 6 months after we broke up, he sent me a clipping of my own book in a newspaper, which I was like, thank you. Sure. And then right after that, he said, did you ghost me? I guess that's appropriate given it's Halloween. And I was like, I'm super busy. I'm stretched kind of thing. And then he responded, oh, I totally understand that. Me too. Then he texted me another 4 months after that, like in January, and it was a link to a pizza shop, and I did not respond. And so a month and a half later, he texted me and said, are you officially ghosting me? And so I responded with what I think was some of my best work. And I said, this is silly. You were entitled to my time when we were in a relationship. You're not now, so I officially can't ghost you.
True story.
I'm like, it's not ghosting you if we're not dating, you dumb. And then I said, I told you when you ended things that I didn't feel comfortable being friends. I've moved on, so I'm fine with being polite, but you don't get to be annoyed if I don't respond to every link you send me. And I said, I'm pretty sure my first instinct was right. It's best for us not to talk anymore. I wish you the best. And then he responded, I'm not annoyed. You're getting me wrong. You should have just said this sooner instead of ignoring me, which is ghosting. Keep in mind, I did tell him when we broke up that I did not want to be friends. And then he said, no need to be rude with a little peace sign emoji. And then, all right, so that was February. In August, he texts me. This is like a full year after we'd broken up, like a year and a half after we'd broken up. Happy Friday. I hope all is well. I'm actually moving to LA next week. I thought if you wanted to be civil or friends, I'd let you know. I'll be around. It's like, bro.
Like, well, I already let you know. I didn't want to be friends.
I already let you know I did not want to be friends. And then January of the next year, that like 6 months later, hey, this is my favorite. Hey, I'm going through a rough time with this girl I'm dating. I'm trying to identify patterns about myself and improve. If you have any insight, I'd love to hear them from you. This is 2022. We broke up in 2019.
You said, babe, scroll up.
I was like, what? What?
Oh my God.
Did not respond.
Oh, it just keeps getting better. Oh my God.
And then like a month later, he said, hey, I just wanted to sincerely apologize for how everything went on my behalf. I just want to say I'm really happy for you and I wish you nothing but the best. I still don't respond. And then 7 months after that, he sent me a photo of him at his MBA graduation next to 2 cheerleaders. And then, no, I'm so sorry. I love this. This is like I'm having the best time ever.
Good.
I feel like I should really do a more dramatic reading of this.
Oh my gosh, this is phenomenal.
And then a month later in 2023, we've broken up for like 4 years now.
No.
He sends me happy birthday.
I cannot. I just keep on thinking, like seeing the audacity. The audacity.
You guys, this is the maximum of his creativity, though. That's what's killing me. He's like, I'm going to send a link to a pizza shop. I've got a peace sign emoji. I've got me with cheerleaders. He's like, I'm brainstorming here. I'm using my best material. And like, this is what he's coming up with.
So the really funny part about that last happy birthday set and the cheerleaders photo is that I was approximately 7 months pregnant, 7 or 8 months pregnant at that time. And so I showed it to my husband and he was like, do you want to just send him back the ultrasound photo so that he knows that you're fully
peace sign emoji.
Peace sign emoji. I was like, no, we're not contacting this guy anywhere. My husband does get like quite a kick out of this whole thing. He just thinks it. I'm like, how does it feel to have a wife who's so desirable that like her exes literally cannot leave her alone?
Yeah, turns out points total through the roof.
Points total through the roof. I
knew
knew it. I knew I was lovable on day one. I just knew it.
Love bombing is actually true. You just have to wait 4 or 5 years.
You just have to wait.
To feel it simple.
And you just have to totally ignore them, and that apparently makes you irresistible to them. It's amazing.
Oh, man,
my
the
God,
bombs
it's
just
so
keep
good.
coming.
Keep coming.
Are you desiring some adventure in your life? Do you like the following tropes? Enemies to lovers, forced proximity, forbidden love, adventure rom-coms? Then look no further to Alicia's latest book, Enemies to Lovers, a romantic adventure of a jewel thief and a lawman on a cross-country journey. And let me tell you, it is such a fun journey. You can purchase it wherever you purchase your books.
Well, speaking of your husband.
Yes.
We've heard through the process of talking to you about your story that one, we love the beginning of your relationship and kind of hearing the story of that. So we would love to hear that from him. And then also we've heard that he's kind of like a connection guru in your friend group and advises your single friends on maybe places to go, activities to do, things like that. We'd love to hear from him if he's around. Okay, we have 2 questions that we would love for you to answer for us.
Yes.
The first is we've heard kind of that you're a very intentional guy around connection, and we would love to hear kind of when you first met Alisha and started the beginning of your kind of romance together, your connection. Like, how did you think about that in those early days?
The way I thought about it was like, I wanted to take her somewhere where like I enjoyed myself. Like my favorite places, like I thought about either like mini golf or bowling for the most part. So I thought, oh, let's do bowling. So we went bowling, and it's one of those places that like you're comfortable to meet. It's easy to talk to someone there rather than going to like some like loud club or a busy diner or whatnot. But as we got to know each other, talk to each other, we were able to be goofy with each other. I felt comfortable there because it's almost like this. It's like that's like my area.
Mm-hmm.
And so I invited her in there. So we both had a lot of fun there. So, and the one thing I thought when I was like on that date was like, I'm not sure if I told her this. I think I did, but if not, first time hearing it, is that like, I just thought like, I'm having so much fun on this date. That's what, the first thing I thought was, it was so much fun. And I felt like in the early stages of like dating stages was just like, we took each other places we enjoyed. Like I took her to bowling. She took me to an awesome cheesesteak place called Boo's in Los Angeles. And then like we both, I think on the third day, we're like, hey, we should go to some kind of bar. And she took me to a really cool bar that she would frequent, like, with her friends. Like so we did that back and forth. And then sometimes we go to places we just kind of decide like, we've never been to this one place in Los Angeles. Let's try it out. So that was pretty much what the dates were. Every date was like, I was inviting her into my world. She's invited me into her world. And then we like shared a curiosity a place we've never been before. So it's almost like a cool, like new adventure for both of us. And then we kind of slowly grew that way where I'd have like lunch with her friend. She'd have double dates with my brother and his then girlfriend. Like it was just so like, it was like naturally growing, like knowing each other. And the more I knew about her, the more attraction grew for her. And the more like, like turned to love. And then now we're married with the son. It's fantastic.
That's so lovely. And I think that's so great to hear in terms of like, one, going to places where you can have fun when you're meeting somebody new that you haven't previously known, and seeing how you can kind of like play together, because like having fun is important for a long-term relationship. And so it's like, can we vibe with jokes? Can we laugh at each other when we mess up on something, Yeah. And so it's cool to see that like you all did that, and then also did that kind of like invitation of, let's bring these two worlds together. How would that work? And build the connection through that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was just lovely it was cool to grow that. And another piece of it was like, it's like the vulnerability too, right? Like, because dating especially right now is difficult. It's tough. I mean, I don't envy anyone dating right now. It's hard, but like being vulnerable enough to be like, hey, because I know I had a little voice in the back of my mind saying, will she like this? Will she like going here? Will she like, but I'm like, you know what? I mean, I'm like, we connected on the first date. I'm sure she'll like the different things I get to show her. And I enjoy what she's showing me. I stayed curious. I think she stayed curious as well. We just kind of just went from there. So we're both very vulnerable. I think we saw that in each other. We're both vulnerable to where like I can trust her with something. She can trust me with something. So like that trust was built like so fast that our connection just kind of built over time, over months and months and months.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's striking like the intentionality behind it, because we've been talking to Alisha about this past, dating experience where the person that she was kind of met on their first date came on so strong and didn't really express a ton of curiosity about her, but just kind of was like, you could fit in my plan for what I want, maybe. And it sounded like, the exact opposite in your early days of dating, where you were like, I'm going to show you a little bit of myself, and hopefully you can meet me there, and we can kind of do that a little bit more and more every time. And in that process, build a real trusting, vulnerable, loving relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because like, I mean, the way I see it was like, we both have a say in this, in a relationship. Like if I want to be there, I want to make sure she's comfortable. That's the first thing in my mind. Like, is she comfortable? Is she having fun? Is she smiling? And I think I told her that on the date too. Like, well, I told her after the date, and I think on the third day, I told her like, I just like seeing you smile. So like, I tried everything I can to do to make you smile, like make jokes. I was silly. I was like, and I unintentionally made her smile. And we are talking about movies, and I'm like, oh, my favorite movie is Punch Drunk Love, right? Like the indie movie. And she's like, I'm like, what's yours? She said Pacific Rim. I'm like, no. No, I'm like, it's not. It's okay if it's not. I'm like, I get it. I'm a guy. You like guy movies, funny. What's your favorite movie? And she's like, no, it's my favorite movie. It's like kind of punched me. I'm like, oh, she's serious. Okay, so that's cool. I didn't know that. I had no idea. So I love that. I love that about her. Like that's like she's able to tell me all these kind of things. Like, and she was different in that regard. Where like she can just talk about anything. Like we're there for like 25, 30 minutes before we're bowling. We're just didn't even know that the time went by. We're just sitting there talking, just chatting. So that was cool. So it's cool to see her enjoy herself. I'm like, okay, the more she's enjoying herself, the more she's smiling, the more comfortable she is. That's awesome. So I can just continue, having fun with her.
How did you guys meet? I actually don't know that part.
Yeah, we met on Bumble actually. Yeah, we met on Bumble. It was pretty crazy because I'm not sure if she told you that story, but like her friend when we're on Bumble, she was like swiping through Bumble. Her friend turned up the age of the person to like I think 45 or 50. She's like, this is who we should be dating. So then she went back and turned it down that weekend of the Super Bowl, and I was actually I think 20 miles away. That was a radius. It was like 25 miles. I think the radius was, and I was at my brother's house. Before I was going to go like downtown area, which would be like 40 miles out of the way. But then I'm like, let's just go to my brother's house for the Super Bowl. Swipe through on Bumble, and I found her. So like it was crazy how like certain decisions were made to where like we found each other at that moment in time. Like the very next day, she turned the date down. The very next day, I'm like, I decided I'm going to my brother's for a Super Bowl. We swiped the right time, right day, and they find each other that way. So
that's so awesome.
Written in the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely was.
So we know that you're a bit of a connection guru in your friend group. And we have like another question for you. So what advice do you give your single friends who are out there trying to find love right now?
Oh yeah, wow. Connection guru. That's a big title. I'll say. Thank you. No, I'll say this. I'll say like one thing I'll tell them is stay in the moment. Because I when talking with them, I have like talked with a few of them, and some of them will kind of like will project like their lives with somebody like weeks, months, years in advance, to where like I'm in the conversation with them and they're like, oh, what if this person is like my mother-in-law? What if my best friend doesn't love her? I'm like, have you gone on the first date yet? No, but go on set the first date, go on the first date, and just play it by ear. Just slow down. Okay, just play. It's like it's like just stay in the moment, because if you're trying to project in the future, you don't know what's going to happen. You're not a mind reader. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe the first date is it for you guys. Maybe there's more than the first date. Maybe you guys get married. We don't know. But that's the first thing I'll tell them is to stay in the moment. Just literally take it like date by date by date. Like when Alisha and I were dating, like I didn't look further than one date ahead. I just thought it's great. I'm having a lot of fun here. What's the next date going to be? Yeah. Oh, it's next week. Cool. Let's do this. Oh, this is fun too. Next date. That's as far as I would take it, because that's all I can do is take it date by date by date and then build on that. And when trust and love and care is there, then you can go further. But yeah, slow down. I'll also say keep an open mind. A lot of the times I do find like I do see that some issues with they have or concerns they have with like building the perfect person. Like they have to be this tall and this hair color and this eye color and this shape and dress this way and walk this way and talk this way. It's like, if you want to build the perfect person, you can, download Sims 4. It's free. You can build the person you want. You can build yourself in the game, and then you guys can have your relationship in virtual life. Like you can do that.
It's much easier that way if you want it. Yeah.
So much easier. You have so much more control, but just let go of the control. Again, like just let go of the reins. Like you don't, I say like if you can go somewhere at a bus stop and end up chatting with someone for 3 hours straight, but you didn't plan that. You didn't plan to talk to that person. You didn't plan to like that person, have a spark with that person. You're planning to take the bus that day. But so you don't know who you're gonna meet. But if you have this like set person you want to meet with all these specific things they have, then anywhere you go, it can be a favorite place or whatnot, what have you. You just walk by all these great people. Or if you're on the apps, you skip by all these great people because you have someone set in mind that you want, that you think is going to be the perfect person, but you don't know.
Yeah, I'm hearing you say be curious too over and over again, essentially in different ways, which I think is such good advice. Thank you so much. This is amazing. Yes. We really appreciate it. And we love it as an added part of getting to know Alisha too, and to know that, she did find that partner that she's been writing about all this time. So we thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Lizzie and Elizabeth.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. It was great meeting you guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. So we want to ask you one last question, which is that we know there are a lot of people who want to find love who are at a similar point now to where you were in this story. Tired of being disappointed, even when the bar is set so low, and really wanting to find that, companionship that feels good to them and that they're ready for. So if you were to talk to them or to your younger self, what would you say? Is there any advice that you would give to them?
Oh my gosh, so much. Yeah, I like what my husband said. I think both of those, like all those things are really important, is to stay flexible and to stay open and to really live in the moment. I would also say, in terms of, staying flexible and stuff like that, when he was like the second or third date I went on after I broke up with this guy, actually, the one we've been talking about. And I think about that now and I think, like, my God, if I held out for another month, I may not have met him. And that would be awful. My whole life would be different. My whole life would have changed, all because I stuck around for another month or two or three.
Yeah.
And I remember reading somewhere after, at some point, like, if somebody is a definite no, you should go find somebody who's a question mark. And that kind of resonated with me, because that's sort of what happened. I mean, I swiped on somebody who was a question mark. I didn't know anything about him, but it was better than the situation I was in. So if you're in a not great situation for whatever reason, and it is a period, like there is a period at the end of that sentence that's not going anywhere, you're better off just deleting it and finding somebody who's a question mark. And it can change your whole life, because that question mark can turn into something more. I will say, I know he told the story about how we met on Bumble, but he did not mention, because he does not agree with me, that his photos were terrible. Like you see him, he's a very handsome man. His photos, he had like when we met, like we were like on iPhone 11s and he had like an iPhone 5. Like his photos were blurry as all hell, because he was very adamant about not upgrading his phone. So they were terrible. And I saw them and I was like, I don't really know what this guy looks like. Like, I genuinely have no idea what he looks like. These photos are so awful. But his profile was very funny. Like, he had a couple one-liners in there. I was like, that's kind of funny. Okay, fine. I'll swipe right on him. And he did not have his height listed in his profile, for everyone who's obsessed with heights. He didn't have his height at all. Heights don't really matter to me, because I'm like 5'2". So I was like, anyone's taller than me usually. And when we met at that bowling alley, I walked right past him into the lot. Like, he was standing outside waiting for me. I walked right past him because I saw him and I was like, it can't be this tall, handsome man standing here. It's like some shortish, like blurry guy. And so I went inside and I texted him. If he was so tall and
handsome, he'd have better pictures.
If he was
showing it off.
This tall and handsome, if he was this tall and handsome, because my usual joke is that any man who's over 6 feet will not waste a second to tell you he's over 6 feet. If a man is over 6 feet, you know exactly how tall he is, because he will tell you multiple times.
Yes, he will.
And so usually if someone doesn't list their height, I think, oh, they're under 6 feet. So I was like, this man is too tall and not blurry, so it must not be him. So I walked right past him and I texted him once I was inside. I was like, hi, I'm here. I'm like trying to have the moral high ground because I was already late. But I was like, oh, it's 10 minutes late and I'm here. And where are you? And he's like, oh, I think you walked right past me. And he walked. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, you're a very handsome fella. I'm glad your photos now didn't show this off.
Okay, this question mark's an exclamation point.
It's great. Yeah, it worked out great. But yeah, so you never, like, take a chance sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't have their height listed in the bio, maybe take a chance.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll be tall or maybe they'll be short, and it doesn't, but maybe you'll find something else about them. Like it was some, I know it's really important to a lot of people. It was never important to me. And I try to tell people, like, some of my friends are very strongly opinionated about a man's height. And I'm just like, it doesn't matter. And they're like, you're with a tall man. And I'm like, I didn't know that he was tall. Him being tall is a complete accident. And by the way, I had to carry a baby that was like almost 2 feet when I birthed it. Like, my son is very, very tall, and it's a problem for all purposes. So, it's not always the best thing in the world. It's not always a plus side. So, adjust your thoughts a little bit and think about, take a chance, and you never know where it might go. And sometimes a question mark can really turn into something way more. But if you're with a period, girl, cut it loose, delete that sentence and move on with your life.
Let it be a period too, because it sounds like that's what you were going through in that story, is like acknowledging that, no, this is a period. I will not live my life taking these airplanes Annex to get over the things that this person is saying to me or how he's treating to me. So it became a period and having to move on. I think it speaks to that like sunk cost fallacy of like, you've already, like the period is already done. You're actually wasting resources by staying there, not by taking a chance on someone else.
It's resources and opportunities. I mean,
Yeah.
this is, I mean, if we think about opportunity cost, you're losing it.
Yeah.
There's all these potential partners walking around out there for you, and you don't know which one is yours until you cut loose the one that's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
That's relationship math.
Yeah, relationship math.
Another aspect to the math is like your time is valuable. Like you
So valuable.
are valuable. Your time.
Yes.
The person who's the period, they are lucky to still have your time.
Yeah. And it really, it's a case of, I recommend everybody do this. After I broke up with this guy, I made a list of all the things that I really wanted in a potential mate. And the things on there were, you know, when I read them back now, or when my husband reads them, like he'll read it and be like, holding hands? Oh, that's so sad. You know, like he feels so bad for me. And I'm like, well, that was something that like I dated men and they were like, I don't like to hold hands. And they, you know, they'd be out on that. I like physical touch. Like I like to be hugged or, you know, my hands held or whatever. And that is a need of mine. And so if that's a need of mine, I can't be with somebody for whom that is not even if they don't really love it or whatever, who is not happy to meet my needs.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to differentiate that, you know, you can have needs and not be needy. And I think that's important for everybody to sort of internalize. Like you have needs. Everybody has needs. You can say like, I don't have needs. I'm not needy. You have needs and you have expectations, and it's okay to want those fulfilled. And you'll find somebody who will meet them. Like you will find somebody who will meet your needs and satisfy them and make you happy and want to make you happy and want to make you smile. It's not an absurd thing to have, because there's a lot of people out there who are also looking for that.
Yeah.
So if those two people come together, I mean, it's great. You're meeting each other's needs then. So yeah, it's just, I think that's my greatest, like the best advice I can give to people who are still dating is just be honest, be open, and then just be cognizant of what you want and need, and internalize that, and then carry that out in the world, and don't settle for less than that.
Perfectly said.
Yes. Thank you so much, Alisha. And then like in the meantime, you know, meet them in Alisha's books, you know?
Yes.
Yes, please do. I mean, if you need a safe space, I've got one.
Yes.
For you.
Perfect. Tell us really quickly, since we have you, about your latest book, which will be out by the time this episode releases.
Yes. So, Enemies to Lovers, which is
there it
my
is.
latest book. It's very cute. I love. I asked for the cover to look like Tequila Sunrise, and so I think they really like delivered on it. And it's about this former con woman turned kind of card trick magician, who comes from kind of a shady background. Comes from a family of criminals. And she kind of gets swept up with this guy who is pretending to be an FBI agent. So they're kind of immediately at polar opposites in terms of the legal field. And he is convinced that she is the key to saving his family, or saving his brother, who has also gotten wrapped up in her family's shady dealings. So they start this epic, planes, trains, and automobile style road trip across the country to solve his brother's problems and figure out her family stuff. And they just kind of, fall in love along the way. And it's hopefully it turns like sweet and funny and dramatic. And then there's some action scenes in there and magic. And, I just really hope that people who kind of want this adventure, I love the adventure rom-com.
Yeah.
It is the second book after Partners in Crime.
Which was phenomenal. People read that
thank
book
you.
too.
Yes. Thank you. But I love this, adventure rom-com genre. And so both books are kind of firmly in that. Just Partners in Crime was more of like One Wild Night in Vegas, shenanigans. But I'm really happy with both of these books, and I hope people really enjoy them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I'm
I'm sure they will. And we will. And we will have that link in the show notes, everyone. So
yes.
Thank you, Alisha, so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you, Alisha, for joining us.
You can connect with Alisha on Instagram at Alisha Rai Writes and at The Real Alisha Rai on TikTok. To check out our books, go to alisharai.com.
This Misconnections essay was written by Charlotte Beach. Charlotte Beach is a writer, sign painter, and muralist based in Los Angeles. To follow her work, follow her on Instagram at Scarlet Peach.
Also, a special shout out to Kai for sharing his awesome relationship advice.
So good.
This is Misconnections. Thanks for listening. I'm Elizabeth Wyndham.
And I'm Elizabeth Villa. Special thanks to this week's guest, Alisha Rai.
Misconnections is co-hosted, produced, and edited by us, the Elizabeths. Elizabeth Villa with special thanks, and Elizabeth Wyndham with Windhaven Productions.
Our theme music is Feeling by Danielle Musto. Be sure to check out our Substack at misconnectionspod.substack.com.
And please follow, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.